Alright guys, just making a quick discussion video today talking about how I think the classic era servers could have been done so much better to the point where, well, they obviously just wouldn't have died and would have had at least a decent small community about the same size as, like, you know, a small MMO like Lord of the Rings Online. I mean, I called this months ago. I knew these servers would just totally die if they didn't implement certain changes. I just think they were doomed to fail. I mean, what is the point of playing them if you can play TPC Classic with new content, and, you know, nobody wants to play the same content over and over again, even die-hard Classic WoW fans. I think these servers should have become more casual tournament style servers. They needed a method to allow people to jump straight into the end game action very quickly, otherwise how are they going to have a solid stream of new players or returning players coming back to play these realms? Because, you know, who wants to spend about 7 days playtime to level up on a fresh, dead server? And I think it could have been a really good opportunity for, you know, testing changes to Classic WoW. This server could have been almost like a testing ground for Classic Plus, and it could have been like the baby of a future fresh Classic Plus server. I mean, first of all, I think the, you know, having to pay to copy your character to these realms was just utterly stupid. I mean, it's no wonder these realms are dead now. It should have just been a free service. And furthermore, I think they should have actually added an instant level 60 option, maybe given every single person at least one level 60 boost, totally free of charge, so people could, you know, quickly make a new character and jump into some, you know, PvP or raids. Or they should have at least, like, increased the experience rates so that the entry into playing these servers would have been faster. I think I probably would have chilled out on these servers, to be honest, if I could have copied my, you know, my Shadow Priest and my Rogue to these servers and just, like, chilled doing some BGs of an odd raid, you know, pug raid now and again. I probably would have played these servers. Like, when you've got nothing to do on TPC Classic, I probably would have gone back and just chilled on a, you know, on a Classic WoW character. And if the XP rates were faster, I wouldn't have mind doing a cheeky bit of leveling, to be honest, like leveling with my friends, or, you know, or just leveling on the live stream or something like that. Because right now, the entry to these servers it's a big step. You either have to pay, I think it's like 20 bones to copy your character to these servers, or you have to spend about 7 days playtime leveling up a fresh character. So there's no wonder that these servers have died. It's hard to get into these servers. If they made it easier for people to get into these servers, then more and more people will be playing it. I think we should also have added some, like, decent changes to the, you know, to the Classic WoW era. They could have re-released other raids in a more difficult format, like a heroic mode or something like that. That would have kept people playing, and it would have made people go back to playing Classic WoW. You know, if you can do Molten Core in heroic mode, or, you know, Blackwing Lair in heroic mode, or even Mythic mode or something like that, you know, with new improved loot, you know, actually add an incentive for people to go back and do the old raids. I think if it added, like, just basic stuff like heroic raids, instant level 60 or increased XP rates, I think these servers would be absolutely buzzing. I know I would definitely play, because there's certain classes I've not played in Classic WoW yet. I would have very easily jumped into Classic WoW, you know, if the entry to the server was pretty easy on a fresh character, and messed around with some raids and then tried out the heroic raids. I definitely would have done something like that, because World of Warcraft, Blizzard, they want their games to be played more seasonally. You know, when there's downtime in TPC Classic, they want people to either go and play retail or Classic WoW. They could have taken even further and re-released the real old Alterac Valley, you know, pre-nerf version. If that happened, I definitely would have gone back to playing it, because, yeah, in my downtime, I would definitely be playing like a Hunter or a Warlock in Old Alterac Valley, just having an absolute blast in like a 24-hour long battleground. I think they should have also changed the honor system to the pre-patch honor system, where obviously you don't have to grind countless of hours to get the PvP gear, you just have to farm honor points. Because again, like, no one, these servers probably were never ever going to be insanely popular, and people aren't going to try hard these servers. They're really just a fun thing for people to, you know, jump around on and mess around on. So, you know, if they made it easier for you to get PvP gear, then again, like, people would have had a bigger incentive to actually play these servers. But at the moment, I mean, who is going to grind PvP on a Classic era server right now 15 hours a day for 3 months to get the Grand Marshal gear? Like, no one's going to do that. Although, perhaps because there's barely anyone playing it, it's actually quite easy to get. They could also have added like a rated mode for Battlegrounds, you know, simple, very quick changes like that, something new, something fresh, rather than the same old. That would have made people, you know, try out these servers, go back to playing these servers when there's not enough to do on retail or classic TVC. And they could have continued to experiment with more and more changes on these servers, and it could have been like almost an official PTR realm, you know, an experiment, before they actually do release a fresh Classic Plus server. I think what they should at least do right now is merge all the servers, because, you know, there's a few servers per region, but every single one of them's dead. I think they should at least merge all the servers. I think it was very ambitious to add multiple Classic era servers. I think there should have really just been one per region. It was never going to be popular. I think, like, one of the problems with Blizzard, and I think a lot of developers these days, is that they focus so much on short-term financial gain rather than long-term financial gain. And it's probably because, you know, shareholders and, you know, financial busybodies in the company, they push people to make more money per quarter. I don't know why it has to be per quarter rather than per year, but whatever. They focus a lot on trying to make as much money in the short term. That's why they added the paywall to playing Classic era servers, or to copy your character anyway, rather than just adding it for free and relying on the fact that people would continue to subscribe to the game solely to playing Classic era servers. Because, you know, if they had bothered to make Classic era servers actually pretty good, then people would have played them, more and more people would have played them, and would have carried on playing subscription if, you know, the servers were good enough. For some people, it might have been the only reason why they play World of Warcraft would be these new cool Classic era realms. But they focused on the short term. They focused on making as much money as humanly possible during the TBC Classic launch, with the character boosts and the copy character boosts and the Dark Portal Pass and everything like that. They made loads and loads of money in that quarter, and now they just don't really care about, you know, long term. It seems they just care about making money out of a consumer very quickly and sharply, like pump and dump them, rather than making money out of someone, you know, over the course of a few years by making a good product that people really want to invest their time into. And that will probably inevitably, for a lot of games these days, be the downfall of a lot of developers and just, you know, game franchises in general. I think that is probably going to be the downfall, you know, within the next decade, of how, you know, all these developers are either going to get such a bad and distasteful reputation that people just stop buying their products, or the business practices of Blizzard and other developers just becomes the norm, right? And consumers just get totally used to these roguish tactics, these short-term financial tricks that, you know, developers use to make money off us. That's just going to become the norm, and we're just going to get used to it, and we're just going to tolerate it, and that'll be quite sad. Like when the concept of pay-to-win came out, or, you know, free game with payable cosmetics and loot crates, like when all that came out, we hated it, but now we're not even that bothered by it. Maybe in the future, like everything that Blizzard does now and other developers do, we won't even be that bothered about it in about 10-20 years, because we'll just be so used to it. Hopefully that won't be the case. That's probably a very dark and negative note to end on, and a huge tangent, so I should probably stop talking and end the video. My name is MetaGoblin. Until the next video, ciao.